turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher. Turn to the teacher.
And welcome back. I'm Mike with the Turntable Teachers, and class is officially back in session, here for another guest speaker episode, our third of 2022, and we're jumping out of Massachusetts for this one, heading down to the Florida area. And I have my good friend right here. He's a rapper, he's an artist, he does it all, and he's from South Florida, the Miami area. Please, guys, everyone give a warm welcome to Art Morera. It's a pleasure to have you on the show, man. How you been today? How's it going?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me on here. I appreciate it very much. How are you?
Oh, of course. I'm doing well, man, and I'm really excited to have you on here. I've been on to you for quite a bit, maybe a little bit longer than you think, because of our mutual friend Old Head Ed at the Brews Beats and Eats podcast, who is a good friend of the show. So he has definitely, yep. He has put you on to us quite a few times, actually.
That's awesome, man. Nah, Old Head Ed is a real one, man. He has great taste in hip hop, like the local artists that he has had on this platform have great stories to tell. Nah, man, shouts out to Old Head Ed. I appreciate him a lot.
Yeah, that's the guy. We love old Head Ed out here. You guys kind of look alike a little bit. You know, you got to get the bald beard thing going.
It's a thing.
Is it a Miami thing?
It's a genetics thing.
It's a genetics thing. I love it.
Yes.
I love it. Oh, yeah. Well, man, we got a lot to talk about. We got a great show, I think, lined up for our listeners and anybody, whether you're in Massachusetts, you're going to get put on to a really dope artist who has an interesting story and background, and I'm just getting really excited to dive into some things. So we're going to start with our first segment of the show, which is the objective. We get to know you a little bit, get to know some of your background. And so for you, what I thought was very interesting about your story is that as a kid, you had this infatuation with art and drawing that actually ended up channeling itself into like graffiti. And so I was curious, like, when you started drawing and really how that transitioned into graffiti, and then how'd you sort of pivot into music, or was that something that they were both like very important pieces of your upbringing? So I'm just kind of curious to start there.
Oh, this interview is gonna be amazing. I can already tell, man. That's question one. Sheesh. All right. So look. So thinking about it, I want to say that I always drew when I was a kid. Like, I would just sketch. I would watch kind of cartoons and try to emulate like the style of animation in my little drawings, and that's kind of what I stuck with up until, I want to say, like middle school, when I started to see graffiti in the neighborhood that I moved to, because I went from like this part of town called Kendall. I didn't really see a lot of graffiti on the walls in the complexes there that I would go and hang out at. But when I got to Hialeah, graffiti was like everywhere. So I immediately saw that as like a form of art and expression too, more than just like vandalism. Like, I feel like vandalism is just when you draw like I don't know. It seems more like a defamation type of use of that ink, rather than like writing a word like in a cool way. So when I started to try to get into tagging and doing like one-liners or like bubble letters, I feel like that was probably the point where I started to look at words differently. You know what I mean? Because graffiti is words.
Right.
And so when I started to really look at how words can be displayed, I started to, I don't know, I feel like maybe that subconsciously, you know how your brain is just like an operating system, you feel me? It's like your brain is an operating system, and whatever type of firmware you put into it is how it'll operate in super layman's terms, because I'm not a computer nerd like that. But I feel like my entry into cognitive expression was through drawing. But then when I got into words, I was like, damn, words are heavy. And then and I always like to do poetry anyway, like express myself poetically. So
Yeah.
that must have been the entry into like poetry through hip hop, which is rap.
Right. That's a really interesting story, and I hear what you're saying too. Like, there's a clear, I agree with it. I think there's a clear difference between something like a graffiti and then just like defamation, because I feel like if there's a certain like artistic component to either some type of graffiti or like any sort of just street art in general, I feel like that in a sense, like I actually was just in Philadelphia pretty recently with on a trip with my girlfriend, and there was just so much like street art everywhere. Like, I mean, you can find it in Boston as well. I think you can find it in most major cities, but I feel like things like that definitely give a city or a town just more vibrance. You know what I mean? I see that. And, again, there's a clear difference, right? If someone just draws like a dick or something like that on a wall, I mean, that's not productive. But if you have like, you feel me? What if there or like some like stupid slang word or like or a swear word or just like or an image that might be seen as like offensive, right? There's a clear difference between that, right? Where graffiti can actually like sort of be, I'm not sitting here like condoning everybody go do graffiti, but I just feel like it's one of these things where I hear what you're saying. There's definitely a clear difference between like street art and like what you could maybe see as like defamation. So I find that interesting, and also interesting that really segued into like your poetic side. So I'm curious about that too. So like, did you read poetry growing up, or is it like, because I'm an English teacher for context, so I'm a big fan of all this stuff. So he's clapping.
That's
I
cool,
love
man.
it.
Thanks for what you do, man. Hey, shouts out to all the language arts teachers and all the English teachers, because and I'm sorry that your students end up like just purposely misspelling like in their tweets and shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's different. like if you know how to and you choose to like deliberately like type things a different way, I can kind of see it as a form of expression. But like if your phone corrects your word for you and you still, I don't know. I'm conflicted. But anyway.
No, I hear you. But go ahead. Yeah, no, I'm just really curious about like your introduction to poetry. Like, was it just did you just write poetry? Did you read it? Like, kind of curious where that sort of shifted for you from like the art and drawing into poetry.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like experimenting with poetry is something that everyone goes through as a growing kid, right? Like, there wasn't a point where your teacher like assigned you to write a poem and see how naturally talented you are at that. Like, I don't know, I feel like that was part of your curriculum, like maybe at least where I was growing up. Mm-hmm. But what made me stick to it is that, like, I mean, I feel like it's to get girls. You write poetry as a kid to be like, yo, girls like poetry. I'm gonna write her a poem right quick, you know. But nah, you gain the appreciation for the craft of it after dabbling in it here and there in the beginning. Like, once you really appreciate the craft of what you're doing, it's like a rabbit hole that like there's no end to it. Like. And also, human beings use words to communicate with each other. Like, you want someone to know how you feel, or not even how you feel, but like your opinion on a topic, your like how you would go about something, and then how you feel, you know. And words is, I mean, it's language. So I want to be able to convey exactly what I'm saying, and if I want to be coded, it's deliberate, not because of a lack of information that I'm unable to express. Like, I'm going to deliberately express something. If it's coded, it's because I'm juggling with the words right now. I'm showing you that, like, you know, I can just tell it to you straight, or I can give it to you artistically in some way, and you figure it out. And I've always been like that. Like with my writing. So
no, I think that's a great answer. I hear you as well, and I also think too, like, art in general, and when you think of it in terms of pictures and drawing and paintings or any sort of talk about street art. I feel like there's a lot of, I think, messages you can convey through, pictures as well. And I think that it's all like you said, it's all form of expression, but yeah, words especially, because especially with human beings that speak a similar language or something like that, I feel like that can be obviously a great way to convey, like you're saying, like your thoughts on a particular topic or sort of your feelings, and people can connect to those feelings and those thoughts, or not, or disagree about it, or potentially, but at least it starts a conversation. So, and that's really like, I think at the end of the day, like that's what we're all here to do. I think we've lost a little bit of that, unfortunately, in this day and age. I feel like people have sort of shifted from, expressing themselves through poetry and art, and instead of just kind of put it into a tweet or an Instagram post, and it's not the same. It's not hitting the same way as something like that would, as being a lot more productive. So that's just my 2 cents there. But yeah.
And I also feel like, not like nowadays with tweets and with reading the comment section and caption this, like we're actually reading way more than we are like may realize. Like, you don't sit down and read a book. You don't sit down and read an article from a magazine. But like you kind of do. It's just not on paper. You're reading all the time. They even have those things where like you can read from numbers and other symbols. You can kind of figure out what the word is that they're supplementing letters for other characters. And so we're reading all the time. And I always saw that words where it's at. And I mean, a picture, you could draw a picture and it explains it too, or you could take a photograph and that's worth 1,000 words. Like, But yeah, shouts out to words, man. Like, and when I was a kid, I wanted to express myself creatively, and poetry just always came naturally. Even though I spent my time illustrating and being on graffiti, walking around tagging, being rebellious, like it was always words. I was always like express myself with some type of writing instrument.
So that's amazing. I love that sort of transition. So now I'm curious as well, because I know you used to put freestyle competitions together at your old high school. Is that correct?
No, I didn't put them together, but I used to attend them.
Attend them. Okay, sorry.
Like, yes. No, I mean I've thrown a few shows like growing up, like, but I was mostly attending rap battles. Yeah, that was during the time when rappers would rap over the instrumental and freestyle off the top of the head, like to your opponent, and you would either get to go at least once or twice, maybe 3 times, like a 3-round battle. I remember like there was a couple times it was like that, like for the finals or something. But
pretty cool, yeah, pretty sweet. Where did you transition from then? Like, okay, so you obviously were drawing a lot and being creative that way, and graffiti, and then you slid into like the poetry side of things, and then where did that sort of like become like, okay, like I can actually like rhyme and rap and like attend these freestyle competitions and take part in them? Like where did that sort of shift for you in terms of getting to that stage of your early career in hip hop?
Yeah, so I mean, freestyling, just something that I feel like I kind of picked up on quick on my freshman years when I first really got into like jumping into the cypher and trying to keep up with the other rappers in my high school, the other MCs. And I mean, so you do that for 10,000 hours, and then you're like, okay, I can pretty much like handle myself in any cipher that I step into. I'll like walk in there, and it's like theater, you walk in there and that's the main stage for 30 seconds, and you get to like spit your little impromptu poem about things that you see, and then like someone else takes a turn, and it kind of gets you prepped for like being on stage and being able to do that with no interruptions to a stage of people in the audience. Like, it's kind of like conditioning yourself for rapping in front of a crowd of people in real time. And also it helps you be quick on your feet, because when someone is saying something, like if you can cut them off in the beginning of the next bar and then respond to what they just said in the previous bar and make it rhyme and flow, and you don't mess up while you're saying it, like that, you start to think pretty quick. And so yeah, I mean, that went into just writing songs over beats. I mean, I knew that from early on, that like even though there's magic, there's all these little like historical moments that happen in ciphers. like what lasts longer is the music. And if I wanted to pursue, like, I knew that I wanted to pursue rap as the craft that I want to master. Like, I'm listening to hip hop more than I'm like in a cipher here and there. Like, I can run the song back infinite times. I can only experience a cipher once, unless if someone's filming it, and I'm not gonna watch, like, come on, like, this is like the world is not gonna sit there and like just watch your ciphers all day.
Right.
Like, they want to hear what you can do in a studio, and or at least my homies were. So we would freestyle during school, but then like rap at our friend's house after school, like in his little I don't even know what program it was. Like, do you remember? Oh, you probably don't. Like, how well, there's this program like back in like the 90s where you could record vocals into like your PC, and they would kind of make it kind of sound like we're in a recording studio, but it was like the quality was just, it was 1999 for sure, for like for kids to have no idea what they're doing. And,
not what it is
but anyway,
today.
but I knew that I wanted to do that like always. I wanted to record songs all the time, and
Awesome.
yeah,
That's amazing. And then for you, like, what do you think like molded your sound? Like, how did you sort of start to like really hone in on like a specific sound in hip hop? Like, what were some of your influences, or what maybe inspired you like instrumentally when it came to like what beats you wanted to like rap over?
right. That's a tough question, because that's like always evolving. Like, whenever rappers give like a straight answer, like a quick answer, like you can tell they've practiced it, because that answer for me like always changes. Like, damn, what were my influences? Like, damn, I was influenced by everything though. Like,
Yeah.
like you're usually influenced by the music that your parents are playing around the household, but then you go outside and hear boomboxes playing other songs that you don't hear in your home.
Right.
And like when you do a lot of like exploring and you hang out with folks and hear what they listen to, and like you get it from all directions. You get all this music. You're like Neo getting the world uploaded into his brain. You feel me? So, I mean, bro, I love Linkin Park. Linkin Park was like popping when I was
Yes.
when I was in high school, right? Those are really impressionable years, right? And they were like hip hop and rock and roll, and I always grew up loving rock and roll because of my parents. And hip hop is kind of like what I was starting to listen to in my neighborhoods. So like they kind of did this blend. Obviously, we all know this later. They were so ahead of their time because they were blending genres, and I saw that the transition from like being able to rap over some hard drums, an ill bass line, and some talented guitarist, and a DJ doing some synths and scratching. What? And nowadays, that's just what everyone does.
Yeah.
Right?
No, you're so true. Yeah. They're like one of their first albums that song in the end was literally it was the one of the main vocalists, name is escaping me now, but like he was rapping over that shit.
Chester Bennington.
Chester Bennington, yeah, he did all the other, he was doing a lot of the like the
Rest in
actual
peace,
singing
too.
vocals. Oh, of course, rest in peace, Chester Bennington.
Yes.
Yeah, he was amazing. Who's the other vocalist in Linkin Park though that did the rapping? Is that what's his name?
Mike Shinoda.
Thank you. Yes, that's who I was thinking of. Yeah,
Yes.
I think the blend of the two of them, like you're saying, with all the like their two voices with the instrumentation, for sure was like ahead of their time, because I don't think anybody, like you said, and at that point nobody's really doing what they were doing. I totally
And the
agree with
harmonies too. The harmonies, like
that. Yes.
like the harmonies that they would do are like Beatles. To me, they're like Beatles level musicality. And I mean, the thing is, for me, like, I was exploring hip hop, but I had a love for rock and roll like from the beginning. Like that was prior to everything. Like that's just how I grew up. That was the main genre, rock and like Cuban music, because I'm here in Miami, and so to hear rap exist over that. And it's like, damn, this is crazy. And I was already hip to like Eminem and to like Cypress Hill and the DMXs and Ja Rules and whatever else was on the radio, Big Pun. But like I wanted to find my voice, and I knew that like okay, I'm not from New York. I'm from Florida. I'm from Miami, Florida. Like, I like to get melodic with my music. So I always kind of, I mean, I stuck with rap for a while because I was too reluctant to kind of explore other genres because I I know how to play the guitar, but I'm not a guitarist. Like I would like, and then I was in this group and we just rapped for a while and we had a member of the group that would sing the hooks. He was like the singer, and and then one day they sat us down like, yo, try being melodic. And for me, in the back of my head, I was like, that's tight, like, because I feel like that would come natural to us. We all grew up around the same time. And that was back in 2006, 2007. So I've been doing these like melodic raps kind of ever since then. And for me, I was just like blending genres. I was trying my best to be able to sound good on a hip hop record or also sound good on like a rock and roll instrumentation. If you took the acapella and put them on both types of genres, like that was always my, I guess my subconscious like MO. You feel me?
Yeah.
If I'm gonna be an MC, let me be able to keep up with Linkin Park.
That's amazing though. No, I love that though, because like it adheres for you to be a little bit more. It gives you more ability to reach different people, right? And like reach different people that like different types of music, right? You're not just kind of like pigeonholing yourself into one sort of box or one genre of some sort of music. So I love that. That's amazing.
But you also like you also alienate yourself too, though. You try to appeal to multiple genres, and you end up kind of like getting like shunned by both along the way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, cause I used to get that all the time. Like, I used to get people like clowning on me, like, because, like, oh, you one of them Drake, motherfuckers. And it's like, if they only knew that I've been doing this, like, these melodic raps since like years before Drake came on the scene on a major level. Like, for all we know, there was a bunch of artists along the way that were trying melodic raps. By that time, like 50 Cent, Eminem, Tupac, like there's mad Nelly, there's mad hip hop artists, Bone Thugs and Harmony before everybody. Like there's so many hip hop artists that were already dabbling with melodic raps. You feel me?
Oh yeah.
And so you get kind of like, you get clowned for trying something different, and then you earn their respect for just being talented and consistent and not letting anyone derail you or like talk you out of you pursuing your talents. And then before you know it, people start to kind of see that there's a lot of things unique about you, that you're not just a copy of anyone else. Like you never were. You were just your own man. Like, it was probably the voice, because I have a voice that's like in the mid-highs registry, like in my recordings. So they're probably, who was one of my favorite influences growing up? Like Busy Bone. I always felt like Busy Bone was like a real standout MC, because his raps were so like, I was in high school bumping this like all the time, like Bone Thugs and Harmony records, because they were the most like difficult verses to be able to keep up with, and it's melodic, and like there's a Bone Thug for every part of the vocal range. You feel me? You have Crazy Bone and Flesh and Bone with the lows, Wishing Bone in like the low mids, Lazy Bone and like the mid highs, and Busy Bone in the highs. Right?
Yeah,
it's crazy that I'm thinking about that. I'm like, damn.
They were like very I think historically speaking, they're very underrated in what they were able to do. And like, I think if people go back and hear their discography, they'll see a lot of like, artists that maybe that they've heard recently or in the last maybe 5-10 years. Like there's a ton of influence there with Bone Thugs, I think, for sure. I mean, they did things that were definitely out of left field for a long time. But I love what you're saying, though. I think that's such a great sentiment of just kind of like not trying to listen too much to people, especially the people that are kind of giving you, again, like there's a clear difference between like constructive criticism and then like just clear like kind of hate and just being like kind of being people being dismissive. So I think that sort of talk you got to kind of get rid of, so to speak. But you know,
Yes.
for you, that was amazing that you were able to navigate those waters, as I'm sure like a lot of artists typically do. And here you are in 2022, where genre blending and trying new things and all this is just par for the course at this point. Like if you're not doing those things, if you do sound like everyone else, you actually get criticized versus the other way around now. So it's kind of funny how the pendulum has swung back the other way.
Very true.
I definitely do want to transition to the main lesson, which is going to be the main part of this podcast. And this is actually the question I've been dying to ask you the most here is, of course, your brand new album, Death Valley. Which is a great body of work. Everybody definitely go check that thing out. SOS is particularly my favorite joint on that thing. But the whole thing is just, it goes from start to finish. Really, really big fan of it. But I want to talk to you, of course. We can get into the music if you want, but of course, I'm sure you know what I'm about to ask you. The fact that you drove out to the desert to record, to make some of this album or inspire you or even do some of the video. So first off, I'm just very curious of like, where did this idea come from? And then like, what was the experience just like in general, like being out in the desert, like making this project?
So I was leaving North California back to Florida, and when I drove back to California this last time around, on the way over there, it was summer. And I did want to explore the desert, but I was like in a dark place. So and it was too hot. If you go to the desert during that time, like you would die. Like you would absolutely, like you're going there just to die. Like that's like swimming out to sea. Like that's like peace. Right? So that wasn't the goal. My goal was to explore the desert. Like Jesus Christ fasted in the desert for 40 days. Like there's like this test. You test yourself in the desert. You know? And so anyway, I decided to go to North California instead because of the weather. And I ended up working with Cookies for like 6 months. The marijuana company that was doing like their content. Shouts out to 1LDX. But when I left there, I was like, let me do this. I gotta do the desert, man. Like I have to go to the desert. And so Murder Mountain was the previous album and the place that it's like the place known where I was at. I was in Humboldt County, right, where they grow all the cannabis. But that's another story. Like, so from Murder Mountain to Death Valley, I felt like it was a perfect polar opposite, like, location to go to. Mm-hmm. Just off of the name alone. So when I go there, I was already prepping myself with, like, going online, reading information, like, watching videos, like, I wanted to really know what I was getting myself into as much as I could. And, bro, you go there, and just to drive there alone, it's like, is so wild. Like, you know, man, okay, my bad. I can go on, bro. Like, listen, like, you can cut me off at whatever point.
No, please do. Please do. I want to hear, though. I want to hear about this.
I'm just saying, like it's the, okay, cool, I appreciate that. Like just the drive down there, like the roads aren't pavement after a while. They're just kind of like you're pretty much off-roading, but it's kind of like pressed down where vehicles can drive on it. But if you go too fast, you will, or you don't have good tires on your vehicle, and you don't catch grip, and you try to hit the brakes while doing a right-hand turn. This way. Right-hand turn, and then a left-hand turn, I guess, because I was going this way. Like, you will swerve off the road, and you will. That's it, bro. Like you like. It's so crazy to drive there alone. So like the cover of the album was on the drive there, right? Because it was sunset, and I'm like, okay, this is where I'm at on Sunset. Let me like pull over on the side here. I told my dog to please stay in the car because if he jumps out and starts to like explore, that's a whole, you know. And I got out the van and I took the photo and I ran back into my van. I kept going, and yeah, I mean, you know what I mean? It was an adventure, bro. Like I've been on adventures before that, like, but I was in an interesting place, bro. Like I was prepared. I was prepared for shit to not go well. You know, like to find some type of like find myself in some danger somehow. Like I was prepared for that to be a part of the story too, because that's what I'm subjecting myself to. But like the writing that came out of it was like they became like my memoirs almost. You know? Like
Yeah.
I mean it's over hip hop beats, like it's over beats, but if you read the lyrics like on a piece of paper, they almost sound like they're memoirs. And bro, I'm just at peace that it worked out well, man. I filmed the whole thing. I filmed the whole experience of it with all my camera equipment out there. Like the first day or two, you're kind of looking out for bandits, but after that, you're just kind of at peace knowing that it's just a bunch of like seniors in RVs and people from Europe taking photos of like the canyons. I would say like the scarier part was like going to sleep. Like, all right, you close the door to the van, you're just there in this little like.
And it gets cold at night, right? I mean, it's people don't sometimes realize like it gets freezing in the desert at night, correct?
It really does, man. Like it got down to like, well, in this time of the year, it got down to like the 40s, and like there was this one night that got down to like the 30s, so, like 39.
Nah, that's nothing.
Like
that's
that.
nothing where we're from. That's Massachusetts. Like that's nothing. But
right, but in the winter,
in the winter,
I
yeah,
guess
I believe it. It's probably brick. Yeah.
Like the last time that I experienced that part of the world in the winter was the previous road trip that I came back from, and in Arizona it dropped down to like 9 degrees one night. And it blew my mind because it's closer to the equator, but it's colder than where I was at. Like, doesn't it get hotter in the south? I don't know. But anyway, but yeah, bro. Like the desert really was. The difficulty level was higher, but you know when you find yourself at peace there, it's actually a beautiful experience. I had a great time. Like, I learned a lot about myself and about just the events in my life that resulted in where I was at. It was cool, man.
That's phenomenal. And I know you created some sort of a short documentary about your experience out there as well. So I know that's on YouTube, so we'll definitely link that in the description of this episode. So after the episode, guys, obviously the album will be in the description on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your music. Definitely go stream the album, and then of course check out the documentary as well to give you guys some context for this project. But and so my last question before I pause just briefly and pivot, I'm really curious, like, what was your like biggest realization about like yourself while you were in that position? Like, if you could, like, there was one thing that maybe you know, that just sort of like stands out amongst the rest of your time out in the desert, like what would be the biggest realization you maybe had?
I learned that fear is a tool. It's not like if you can harness that fear, right? You stand up to the thing that scares you. Like, you'll learn that it's kind of like your spider senses. Your fear is like your spider senses. You feel me?
Yeah, I know. I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
It's just alerting you that there, you know, it's a tool, man. That's that's probably the biggest lesson that I learned, because I would say that there were parts there that I was like the most at fear that I ever felt in my life. But like, how do you traverse through that?
Right.
Like,
Right.
and then you realize,
That's
oh
such a
shit,
good
like, you feel me?
No, I absolutely do. It's funny you say that too, because just for context, so like about a year ago, I had probably like I would say one of the most traumatic like experiences I ever had in my life. I had a seizure while camping in the woods. And luckily I had people around me, and I talked actually a lot about it about 6 months ago. I put out like a short podcast episode about it, but and I had a really a pretty traumatic experience, and was lucky that people were around me to like make sure like that I woke up and that I was okay, and like rushed me to the hospital and all that. And shortly after that happened, like you said, I think I had like a different sort of outlook on life. I was like, I kind of feel like I cheated death, so to speak, because if like different circumstances had happened, like I probably would have been, I could have died, because I could have been alone and gone through that by myself, and that would have been, I'd probably been the end. So I ended up for 3 days. This was maybe like 3 or 4 weeks after. I ended up traveling up to the sort of like upper state New York area in the Adirondack Mountains, and there was this farm that I found, 100 acres. It was like completely renovated inside, but like the farm was just kind of in the middle of nowhere, and I basically was alone by myself for like 3 days, just to kind of like, and I was going through some things also additionally like at that time as well. And it was really amazing, like what I came out of that experience, like being by myself on this farm, like alone. Like there was a lot of moments that I had where it was like very eerie, where I actually wasn't like enjoying it. I was like, oh man, like this is like really scary. Like I'm kind of putting myself in another situation where like, if something like someone just shows up on this farm or whatever, or something happens to me, like no one's around to even like hear me or see it or whatever. But and at night especially, like every noise I started to hear, I'm not usually like that, like at night being like fearful of like my surroundings, but like at that moment, like every little noise, I was like, oh, someone's breaking in, like I'm screwed. And obviously I'm okay because I'm here. But it's interesting though, out of the 3 days I was there was only, I would say, like a handful of moments where I probably wasn't like on edge or anxious or sort of, fearful. But in those moments, I found so much beauty in them, because I was like, oh my God, like, I am alive. Like this is like what life is about. Life is about like taking risks, taking chances, and like having experiences and learning some things about ourselves that like we wouldn't know. Like I never knew that I was so fearful of stuff, of being alone, I think, or like fearful of that, I wasn't strong enough to fend for myself, so to speak. And it really taught me a lot about myself and like the things that I needed to do to like change my life and like and really just make myself better when I got home. And I did that. When I got home, I really like took the time to make sure that I like did those things. And I don't think I ever would have quite like experienced the aftermath of all those things, or like I don't think I would have maybe taken the initiative to change those things or work on those things in my life had I not had that experience in the farm, by myself. So it was really it was quite an amazing experience. And I think what you're saying is so true, of like fear is a tool, and if we can use it in a productive way, then there really is nothing that can stop us, and like if we're afraid of dying, or afraid of taking risks, or afraid of whatever, then we're not gonna live properly, and like we can't spend the rest of our lives in fear, because then it's just not gonna be something that we'll be able to ever get ourselves out of, and we're not really living if we're in fear all the time. So I just
Exactly.
thought that. Yeah, so I thought I'd share that a little bit too. What you're talking about, I think, kind of reminded me of that moment. And I think you were in the desert quite a little longer than I was in 3 days. But or you were on the road for a little longer than I was. But
I wasn't that much longer than that either, though. I was in the desert for like 6 days. So.
Oh, okay. There you go.
I was in the desert for 6 days, but man, what you said was beautiful. I wanted to tell you, like, exactly, man. Like those brief moments that you're not like being vigilant. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Those moments that you're not being vigilant, like, result in some, like, wow, it's really tight out here.
Yeah. No, it was so many. Yeah, there was a moment where, like, I had that where I meditated a little bit, and then I did a little bit of yoga, and then I sat on the porch and watched the sunset behind the mountains, and I was like, damn, this is beautiful. Like, it's beautiful out here. Like, life is beautiful right now. Like, this is incredible. And then once it was dark, it was back to like, all right, like, you know what I mean? But that moment I'll always remember. I'll remember that moment over the fearful moments, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, I definitely remember those moments of bliss and like clarity than I do the moments where I was nervous and scared. So if that makes sense.
Heard, like it's like your brain doesn't commit it to memory. It's like let's just get past these surveying moments, and let's just get back to the chilling moments.
Yes, absolutely. No, I love that, man. That's yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that happened to me a few times in the desert. Like, there was like when I was out there throughout the day, like I want to say, ironically, I was more at peace like when there were crowds in the places that like had like a couple crowds of people, because there's this part in the desert that's like a huge basin. It's a salt water. It's like the sewage system of the entire desert, like the whole canyons around it, like it all funneled down to this huge like 5-mile plain, right? And then after everything was evaporated, it was just salt. So you're walking on salt, and basically, and when I was there, like writing my rhymes there, it felt cool to see just like human beings from all over the earth, like just kind of marveling at just the vastness, you know? So
I hear you. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. That's amazing, man. Well, dude, I'm glad you had that experience. I think if anybody listens to this right now, like if you have not had an experience like this, I suggest it. I think it's like it'll just give you a different perspective that you would never have had otherwise. For sure.
Yes, absolutely. I encourage people to go on adventures all the time. It's just like it literally is mostly just gas money. All it is, like, just find out how much it's gonna cost you to drive there and back, and that is like 90% of your worries. Like, just bring a cooler with go to the grocery store, get some like sandwich meat or whatever, and like a 24-pack of water, and just go out there and just be out somewhere for a couple of days, and then just come back. Like, what's the big deal? You know, like
absolutely.
You know what I mean?
It's important. No, you're right. It's important to get away from like the hustle and bustle of like of our lives, like especially how everything's like digital, everything's on our phones and all that. You know, I think being out and having experiences and adventure, like it really, you're absolutely right. You won't ever regret doing that stuff. I feel like, you know what I mean? Yeah.
And there's places that do have phone signal. Like the Grand Canyon, to my surprise, had phone signal. Like, I was at the Grand Canyon for the first time in my life, like, and I was like, what? Like, I can go live right now if I wanted to. Like,
yeah. Oh, that's funny, man. Well, that's amazing. I'm gonna hear a little bit more about this in just a second, but I have to pause real quick because we got this was a little Easter eggs I was telling you about. This is our pop quiz section. So this one's a lot of fun. I have some rapid fire questions for you. All right, I want you to answer them as quickly and as efficiently as you possibly can. And so I will start with just transition slightly to this moment, which I thought was very interesting that I did not know about you. That you opened up for Joe Budden and Royce the 5'9". So tell me a little bit about what that was like.
It was tight, man. They're cool. Like when I walked up to them and introduced myself, they were cool people. I signed autographs like on stage that night. That's that photograph you're talking about. Awesome moment. It was just me out there. The guy that introduced me said, "Everyone make some noise for Art Mo. In the
He butchered your last name.
and I grabbed the mic and I'm like, thank you. My name is not Art Mo. My name is Art Morera. Run that shit. And I was just there. There was like 1,500 people maybe in that crowd that night. Yeah, tight work.
That's awesome.
Great experience. I killed it.
I'm sure you did. That's awesome. But
Yeah.
you killed it. He killed your name. It is what it is.
Yes.
Favorite artist in the South Florida music scene?
Oh shit. Favorite artist? I want to say Money Mowgli.
Money Mowgli. Awesome.
Money
we got
Mowgli,
a couple.
yes.
We got a couple of Massachusetts natives that are actually down there right now. Heath 240 and Virgil. So if you haven't heard them, they're originally from up here, but they're down in South Florida right now with you. So
Would you say it's Heath 240 and Virgil?
in Virgil, correct.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll check them out for sure.
They're dope.
Shouts
They're
out to
dope.
them.
Both. Yep. They're great, good friends of mine as well. They're friends of the show. Both have been on the show before. Heath's been on 2 or
Tight.
3 times actually. All right, so what's your favorite track off Death Valley and why?
I would say my favorite track off Death Valley is Fairy Tale. It's the last song on the album. And it's probably my favorite because I was already in Texas heading back from the West while writing it. And I knew that I wanted to finish on a crazy note, for lack of a better term. So Fairy Tale, I use like Greek mythology to describe like the afterlife, which is ironic because like if you think about it, that kind of implies that I believe in Greek mythology as the afterlife, but that's not the case. This is just like in songwriting form. Or talking about like the underworld, and it's dope, man. But I wrote that song to like I didn't have the beat for it yet. I wrote that song to like a tight beat. I looked up like I forgot what it was. It was a tight beat, and I just wrote to just that while I drove home. And then like when I got back to Florida, I made the beat right quick, and then I recorded over that. But I had the whole song written on the drive back. You get me? I just ran the loop back like for the next like day and a half, just there driving, writing Fairy Tale.
That's awesome.
That's why I say in the second verse, I go, heard they found my flesh in the alley in Dallas, Texas, stiffer than calisthenics, flew out of dentists to identify me by root canal forensics. I was in Dallas, Texas, pumping gas like when I came up.
No shit. There you
with
go.
that line. You feel me?
Yeah, there's some good context behind that. Very cool. I did not
Because
I did not know
I could die in Texas too. That's the whole point. The whole point of that album is like, is that it can happen at any moment, right? So you might as well make an adventure out of your life. That's the whole theme behind the album. Like I'm gonna go out. If I'm gonna go out today, I'm gonna be on an adventure while doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like
I love that. That's a great message. I think that's fantastic, man.
So yeah. So I was in. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. For sure.
Great. That's a phenomenal answer. I love that, man. Got goosebumps a little bit on that shit. Any trouble ever doing any graffiti, or were we always slick with it?
Well, this one time I was putting up a sticker on a stop sign, and the police that was directing traffic over there blew the whistle in my direction, called me over, and I was like, yes. And he said, I want you to take off every sticker on that stop sign before I give you a citation. And I was like, all right. So I walked back, and I peeled off my sticker, and I left.
I knew there had to be like one story at least. You know what I mean? I knew there had to be something. That's why.
I kept the sticker, and I went around the corner. You know what I'm saying? What I did with it will not go all on record.
we will not disclose what happened with that sticker, where that sticker ended up. Oh, that's hilarious. All right, get 2 more for you. What does the phrase "we're just misfits with no place to be, still got a long way to go" mean to you?
That is about Humboldt County. Well, that is a so there's layers to that bar because the first layer is that I'm talking about folks that live in Humboldt County as a transition point in their lives, because a lot of folks will go to Humboldt County to get some work in the marijuana world, and then use save their money and go and upgrade their life somehow, like change their life potentially somehow. So like, but they're not from there, and it's hard to find a place to be there. There's actually a lot of people that work there that live out of their vehicles, just like how I was. So,
wow,
misfits with no place to be, but it's not the end point either. So we still have a long way to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then the deeper level to that bar is like I'm talking about like that inner child that's in all of us. That as we get older, it seems like you have to discard that aspect of yourself to be able to function in the world. But so that misfit is your inner child, and no place to be is like there's no place for that inner child of you that's you to be able to just exist, okay, like if you play video games, right? For example, if you play video games, as you get older, it's frowned upon more and more to sit down and just play a video game for 2 hours. You feel me? That's just an example. But and still have a long way to go. It's like you want to, in theory, you want to be able to hold on to your like who you were as a kid until you die. Right?
Yeah.
So
that's a good point. Yeah.
So that's that bar.
Great. I love. Oh, great! You're killing this right now. And last one. Do you have like a
Thanks.
most memorable moment, or there was like maybe a bar you heard that's really stuck with you, or like a battle that was just like insane out of any freestyle competition that you've seen or witnessed or been a part of?
From my battle days.
Yeah, from the battle days. Anything that like really sticks out, or a memory that's like ingrained in your head that you can't get rid of?
It's like it's all a blur to me at this point, man. I want to say so when I was first battling, I did that for like 2 years, right? For like 2.5 years, and then I took like a 1.5 years or so, like 2-year break, and then after that break, I thought I was rusty. I thought I was like not gonna be able to keep up. It's hard to sign up to a battle now, but my friends were like, yo, they got a huge battle that's, they exaggerated somehow. It's gonna have like Lloyd Banks and Young Buck there and Vitamin Water and all this, and it's at FIU. It's a college there. He's like, sign up, man. Sign up right quick. And I was like, all right, for sure, whatever. And I was anticipating that I was like gonna be rusty, but I went up there and I won the whole shit, and I won the whole thing, and I left behind the Vitamin Water because I forgot to get it.
So you didn't get your Vitamin Water prize. Oh, jeez.
It's all good. Yeah, no, I mean, but I don't know, man. Those days are kind of a blur to me, bro. Like,
oh, you went dark again. Your video went dark again.
I did. Damn, hold on, for real.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay, hold on. I got you. I'm sorry. 1 second.
It's okay.
My fault, man.
No, you're good. You're good. This is
I don't
why
have so many outlets.
It's okay. This is again why we do it pre-recording.
Okay.
We can mess with this stuff in post-production.
My fault. My fault for earlier. Like maybe if I may have started rambling.
No. Dude, this is your episode. This is the whole point. This is your episode. So.
You hear me?
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, and I can see you. You're good.
Okay. All right, for sure.
Yeah. No,
Right.
you're not rambling. This is your episode. This is the whole point. They don't.
Okay.
They can hear a little bit from me, but they mostly, I mean, our audience wants to hear from you. They don't want to hear from me. So, and I'm sure your fans want to hear from you too. So, in your audience. Anyway, so. Well,
Right.
That's too bad you didn't end up getting the Vitamin Water at the end there, but at least you won. At least you have that to say, right? You got bragging rights, which is always good to have. So
Sure. Yes. I'm gonna hold on to those days dearly, bro. Even though those days to me, bro, it's a blur. You feel me? Like it's been so long since. But yeah, I mean, hey, shouts out to anyone that participated in those days of Miami hip hop. To me, those are like the Miami hip hop like glory days. Like it was just everyone that's a recording artist now, and hosts events and has little indie labels here and there. Like in those days, we were just like still harnessing our rap skills and like rapping on the mic in front of people, like trying to get them to go like the, you know what I'm saying? No, the hip hop events back then were crazy. They were amazing.
Oh, that's awesome. I love it. Well, Art, you made it through the pop quiz section. Well, and with flying colors, might I add. So complete. You were a 10 out of 10. So good job. I don't think I asked you 10 questions, but I'll give you 10 points anyway. I have two more questions. There you go. Yeah, give me a little one of those. I got two more questions that I want to ask you before we get to our final sort of segment here, which is called the open response. But before we get there, there's two very, obviously big things I think about your brand that I definitely want to talk about. First is being 12 a.m. I'm curious what that means and like what the initiative is behind it. So just explain that a little bit to the audience of, what the 12 a.m. brand is all about.
So 12 a.m. Is the restart. Every now and then you have to like, restart on your life. You might feel like that's what happened to me. Like if you feel like you need a restart on not just your life, but let's say like something's just, if you had a bad day today, tomorrow it's a new day. It's a new opportunity to shape your life the way that you want it to be. Mm-hmm. And so that's what 12 a.m. means. And the AM, it just so happens to be my initials. My birthday is on the 12th day of January, so 12 a.m. It's cool.
Oh, I like that.
It works.
There you go. No, that totally works. Sounds like it's all encompassing. And then I was curious too, because I know you're quite you're pretty active on Discord, and actually our last episode with the kid. Who's a producer out in Massachusetts. He's on Discord pretty frequently as well, and I know you're pretty active on it. I believe is it the Witch Wolves Discord channel? Is that
Watch Wolves?
Watch Wolves. Excuse me, I apologize. The Watch Wolves right. Discord.
Yes.
So do you have like a community built around that channel, and is that something that because it's not just you in that channel, correct? There's others as well. There's other producers and artists.
Yeah, so Watch Wolves is like those are my brothers. Like that's a breed of writers. Like we're all wolves, right? Okay. And that Discord, like we're still growing the Discord. There's barely anyone there right now, like because we don't really promote it like that much. But I'm going to begin live streaming on YouTube some studio sessions, and if people want to interact, I'll have that Discord in the description. But the Discord that I'm on most of the time actually is No Emotions, the Golden Gods Discord. Man, shouts out to the homies on there, man. Sage the 33rd Scroll, Code 45, Van Working, just Maker, No Emotion, everybody that's there. Like it's like a group of like digital just homies from abroad. Like this is what people that were like, that had pen pals back when you were like in 7th grade. Like I had a homie somewhere in Ireland or something. Mm-hmm. Allegedly, for all I know, that was, you never know, man. You know what I'm saying?
That's so true. That's funny.
But it's like that, but today, like it's amazing, man. The internet is so wild. Yeah. I think about that so much. Like do you feel like, anyway, that's a whole other story. So yeah, bro, the Discord is amazing. Once I discovered what Discord is, it just became like my favorite platform to be able to create a community of people on. You feel me? Like it's like it's fascinating. I'm fascinated by like how powerful Discord is. It's crazy.
I was going to ask you about that. Like, do you think for artists, producers, anybody that's in the music industry, like, do you think Discord is like kind of an important platform for artists and producers to be on? Is that like something that you definitely like co-sign as like a platform that is necessary for artists to enter and be a part of?
So yes, because you can create a server like this. You can create a server that is for free. You could also make one that you charge on. I don't have one that I charge on, at least not right now. But like you can create a server and send the invite link to whoever you want, and then people that want to join the server, they'll download the Discord app and click on your link, and then you gain entry into the server. There's no other way to get into it, right? And then you can have voice chat rooms. You can have like how we're talking on Zoom right now. This could be happening on Discord, and it could be like 100 other people also here too, like with all their microphones on mute. Oh, we have a question from the audience. It's actually such and such over here, and he unmutes himself and says, "Hey, what's up? Is it true that you know what I mean?" Like it's so powerful, and it's all in real time. They could be anywhere in the world. There's no like delay. I have a homie called Banso from Norway that we chop it up all the time in that Discord, and it's like having a conversation with a friend, but they're across the world, and there's like 5 other people there like joining in on the conversation too. You could post links, videos. It's crazy, bro. Like that would be the best place. Imagine if Eminem or like Tupac had a Discord. You know what I'm saying? Like he's just there talking with, like, just imagine the magnitude of how crazy that is. Like, I mean, I've seen some Discords that have like 70,000 people. I can't even comprehend what that's like. Like what those.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Because on Instagram, like Instagram to me is going to become just like a promotional tool to access the full content somewhere else later.
Yeah,
like,
that's how I see
like
it too. Yeah.
You put up a snippet of like a new episode or something, and you click the link, and it takes you to your platform. And however, and if that platform is the Discord, you can show the whole video. Like you can link it in the disc. It's just it's amazing how. So yeah, I'm building up I'm contributing to building up the Watch Wolves one right now, and yeah, I hope to see people there. Just chop it up with us, whatever. We can talk shit. We could share tracks. You could play your tracks on there, like in the video chat with us. You just share your screen and bump the track, and we'll bump it like in almost full quality on our end. It's really awesome.
Yeah, I've really been slacking. Like I've been hearing like so many good things about Discord, and that's something that I need to get on myself. And I would love to jump in on Watch Wolves at some time too as well. So definitely keep us in the loop on that. But yeah, no, I've heard really good things about it, and there's things I think that we could even, like you're saying, I think there's even ways that podcasters that, you know, like myself could definitely utilize the platform in ways that, you know, I don't think. Like definitely we haven't tapped into. So I agree with what you say. You started to say it a little earlier. I think it's just like it is amazing how just mind-blowingly like connected that the like internet has made us all, and like how you can like you said, you can literally connect with somebody from Norway. Like that's incredible. Like how could you ever do that before this ever? Like someone can listen to your music without, like, you know, in a different country, without you having to go through an A&R or like who, you know, like, or get radio time. Like that is like the fact that even if it's just one singular human being, like that's pretty freaking cool. Like that one person can like consume what you're doing in like Miami, Florida versus like like in somewhere like Norway. It's the internet is a crazy place. I know I was talking some shit on the internet and like social media a little earlier, but there is and I think that's kind of the trendy thing to do right now is like talk shit on social media, yet everyone's on it. So like, you know, it's one of those things. But I feel like too there are some positives to it as well that, you know, we have to remember as well. So
it's a tool, man. Like it's a
tool. Like fear. Like, it's a tool.
Yes, it is, because like I can slang just audio cassettes if I wanted to. Like my new album is only available like on vinyl, right? And
your like Death Valley's on vinyl?
No, I'm saying like No, it
Oh,
should
you're
be.
saying, it should be. I was gonna say,
My
I would
fault. My
order
fault.
one. No,
My
you're
fault.
good. I was about to be like, I
It
need to
should
get
be,
one.
though.
No.
It should be. It should be. It probably will be sooner than later. I have to get all my shit on
hope so.
vinyl. But anyway, yeah, man. Shouts out to all the homies on the internet. Yeah, what were we gonna say, bro?
No, go ahead. No, I was just listening to you.
Oh, all right. Well, that's it. That's all I have to say about the Discord. I guess.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, man, that's amazing. Like, I'm amazing. I definitely got to hop in on that sometime too and check it out. And yeah, if you guys, like I said, you guys listening, we'll also link the Watch Wolves Discord in the description as well for you guys. So that way, so you got obviously the Death Valley album and the documentary that you guys got to definitely check out. That's in the description. Obviously, Art's Instagram is going to be linked in the description as well, and places to stream his music. Got one last final question. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And listen, I'm sorry, not just my music either. Like in the it's so Money Mowgli is on Death Valley. He's in Watch Wolves. Like Big G is on Death Valley. He's in Watch Wolves. You know what I'm saying? Like one of my favorite writers is Joey Da Silva. You know what I mean? He's in Watch Wolves as well. So like if you enjoyed the album and you join the Discord, you're gonna be like able to interact with other contributors to that album as well. And these guys are like my favorite artists. Like Money Mowgli is like my favorite MC. Big G is like one of my favorite MCs. Joey's, like I said, he's my favorite writer. So like, and we have homies too. We have a lot of talented like homies that we collaborate with on music. Like I said, No Emotion and his Discord is awesome as well. So like, if you start off with one community, like one server, and then you expand and start to discover, it's like a tree. You start to discover other communities, you go down other rabbit holes and discover whole other like huge audiences of a certain through one song, and then they have a Discord as well. So you go that way and meet new homies over there too. It's amazing.
Awesome.
Especially if you're an introvert. If you're an introvert and you don't like to be out too much, but you find yourself conversing comfortably with people that you technically haven't really met yet.
No kidding. But hey, I mean, that's awesome. I love that you guys have like started to build a little community like that. And hopefully I wish you guys nothing but the best on that endeavor, and I hope it grows from here. It sounds like, and I definitely got to check out some more of some of those artists you're talking about, like Money Mowgli and and I Joey Da Silva. Like, I would love to hear more from them as well. I definitely, I loved his feature on your project, but I gotta definitely check out some more of that myself. And but and that's the beautiful thing about this too. Like, obviously, like the internet brought us together. I mean, like brought me and Old Head Ed together, and that's like, it's kind of a chain reaction there, where it's like, oh, Old Head Ed and I, like, we found each other's podcasts and we got to talking, and this was 2 years ago now, maybe even more than actually. And now it's like, because of him, I know of you, and now because of you, I'll now know more about X, Y, and Z artists. Like, I think that's just a really that's the beautiful thing I think about obviously the internet, and like being able to just interact with people and interact with their art and like what they're like contributing to society like that. So yeah, I'm excited for you guys, and I hope, like I said, I wish you guys nothing but the best going forward with building that community. I think it's gonna I think it's gonna be a great thing. So keep going with it. Don't stop. So
Thanks, man. That's much appreciated, bro.
Oh, got you. I have one last. By the way, like, I gotta say, like, this has been an amazing episode. Like, I've learned so much, and like you've given me so much insight, and like our audience as well. So I appreciate you coming on here and giving us your time. And this is just, like I said, this has been an awesome episode. I'm actually really glad we ended up doing this, and finally, I know we've been talking about doing it for a little while, and I'm really glad we finally did it. I got my final question for you, and this is the open response. This is the dream song scenario. All right. So I will break it down for you, and then you take all the time you need to answer this question. So you get to create a song. All right. Art Morera's song. All right. And it can feature anybody, any artist, dead or alive. And I'll structure it for you. So you get one producer, or two if you want, like maybe a melody from one producer and maybe some drums for another, or however you want to do that. So you get 1 to 2 producers to produce your dream song. And then you get 3 guest artists from any genre, any era, dead or alive, does not matter. All right, it's your song though, so it'd be Art Morera featuring blank, blank, and blank, produced by blank. So, Who would be on Art Morera's dream song? Take all the time you need.
All right. All right, I got it.
All right, let's hear it.
This is wild too. This is all right. So it would be produced by Mike Shinoda.
Ooh.
And it would feature Slug from Atmosphere, Lupe Fiasco, and Eminem.
Wow.
No, excuse me. Damn, I did not mean to say Eminem.
No, you can rewind. Eminem was on it. Now he's off. See ya, Eminem.
Damn.
We've never gotten Slug from Atmosphere. I like that. I like that response. That's a good one.
Yes. Produced by Mike Shinoda, featuring Lupe Fiasco, Slug from Atmosphere. Oh, fuck that. Hell yeah. Eminem, bro. Of course. Of course, man. And there's other people that, listen, there are other people that's a great question. Anyway, yeah, no. I mean, that answer could have gone a million different ways, bro, but I feel like
anything.
Maybe not a million, but it could have gone a few different ways, that answer, but
oh, for sure.
As far as how I would imagine a Mike Shinoda beat made for me, and the thing is about me, right? Like the artists that I collaborate with, your MCs kind of they almost inspire / challenge one another. It's like, look, this is what this beat brought out of me. Like, what's it gonna bring out of you? Since I submitted my verse first before you, what's it gonna do to your verse? And vice versa. Like, if they send me a song with their verse already on it, that assigns me where I want to go with my verse. You feel me?
Good point.
So hear, if I were to get a Mike Shinoda track and then write my part over it and give it to those 3 artists, I would love to hear what I had to say sets the tone for what they may have to say. You get me?
And I think Eminem would actually sound great on a Mike Shinoda beat.
I agree, bro. I wish that they worked together more. It's been 20 plus years. I don't know if that's gonna happen anytime soon, but I would love for that to happen, bro.
That would be
Eminem,
crazy.
I mean, Eminem over a Mike Shinoda beat, or Eminem and A$AP Rock on a record, produced by
A$AP Rock, yeah.
Yeah. See, A$AP Rock was gonna be my other pick, but I feel like for me to say Slug and A$AP Rock too, that kind of it's okay, I exist mostly in this part of the hip hop tree. You
try to get a nice variety.
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe A$AP Rock can be on the remix, right?
Hell yeah, the extended version.
The extended, exactly. Art Morera featuring Slug from Atmosphere, Lupe Fiasco, and Eminem, produced by Mike Shinoda. I think it would be a hit, and or at least a hip hop legendary hit. That's for damn sure. And we'll speak it into existence. Maybe it'll happen someday. Who knows? Art,
it's cool if it doesn't happen too.
Yeah. But hey, we try to speak things into existence. Are here Turntable teachers, right? That's the whole point. It's a fun conversation, but we also try to speak it maybe into existence, right?
Yes.
Oh man. Well, Art Morera, man, you've been such an amazing guest. This has been such a fun episode for me, especially. I hope everybody listening enjoyed this as much as I did. Thank you so much for being here, man. And you are officially a Turntable Teachers alumni, and so that means we will be rocking with you till the end. So that's what that means. So even though we were rocking with you before as well, but hey, take this last opportunity to plug anything you got going on, anything got coming up, where people can find you. Obviously, we'll link things in the description, but take this last opportunity to sort of just plug anything you got going, and go ahead.
Word. Well, I appreciate you very much, man. Thank you for having me on your platform to have this conversation. Your questions were great, man. This was one of the more like in-depth interviews I was able to delve on, you know. So I appreciate that.
For sure. That's the goal.
Shouts out to you know, make sure you follow Watch Wolves on Instagram so you can go and check out Money Mowgli and check out Big G, Joey Da Silva, all the homies that we rock with. Shouts out to Belief, No Emotion Gold Mask. Make sure you guys check out that Discord, man. I mean, download Discord and check out Watch Wolves on Discord, and I guess go from there. I highly recommend No Emotions server as well. Death Valley out now. I'm working on some stuff now. Yeah, I don't want to give too much away because I like the element of surprise too. But those are the old faithfuls. You know what I mean?
You got it. Well, make sure you follow this man. Make sure you follow him for sure, and follow Watch Wolves as he's mentioned, so that way you guys can keep up on some of those surprises. And make sure you go stream Death Valley. I don't think you will be disappointed with that choice. And we've been definitely rocking with it too. I think SOS is still floating around on our playlist as well. So hey, if you're a fan of Art Morera just coming on to us for the first time, right? Follow us at Turntable Teachers on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We have our website www.turntableteachers.com with all the latest articles, blogs, episodes, what we got going on. Got a huge project coming up with us really soon. So definitely, you know, regardless whether you're in Miami or Massachusetts or Florida, anywhere you are in the world, definitely make sure you're following us, because we got a big announcement coming really soon for us as well that we'll keep hush hush. And of course, you know, subscribe to our podcast. Subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple, SoundCloud, YouTube, of course, for the video podcasts, or make wherever you get your podcasts. Once again, Art, thank you so much. This was a phenomenal episode, and we will be in touch very soon.
Yes, sir, man. Thank you as well. Man. Keep teaching.
I will. I'm gonna do my best over here to inspire the youth as much as possible. But I appreciate your time, and again, thank you so much. And without further ado, guys, I'm Mike. This is Art Morera with the Turntable Teachers, and class is officially dismissed.
Turntable teachers.